Welcome to Video Game School, and if you want to turn yourself from this into this, I can help you. But first, you're gonna have to watch the video till the end. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Lower Parch 101, and we are back at it again today with another Fortnite tips and tricks guide, which is going to be building off of what we've already learned in the building guide that I put out 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, I highly suggest that you click up here in the card in the top right hand of the screen to take you to that video so you know how to do that before you continue on with this video. But if you're already from there, that's great. You're an expert. Let's get going. So today we're going to be talking about how to use building to actually fight your opponents. Now, we'll be talking about 4 different methods today: cover shooting, crouch peeking, sniper baiting, and shotgun peeking. Now let's talk about the first one, cover shooting. Cover shooting is pretty self-explanatory. This is basically what everybody knows to do whenever they build, is to provide cover for themselves and then to pressure back the opponent by peeking over the side and shooting them, ducking in and out of cover, blah 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 blah. That's pretty simple. We've got some examples here right now. So in this first example, I'm with my brother here in Greasy Grove, and I use the cover shooting method to provide myself some cover from this guy's rocket launcher while gunning him down. In the next example, I'm in Retail Row, and I use the same method to shoot this guy from a distance and have some safe cover. In this last example, I'm above this guy, and this trick also works whenever you have a platform. It doesn't just apply to stairs and walls, it applies to anything that provides cover for yourself. We're now going to move on to the next method. Crouch peeking, otherwise known as head glitching, allows you to fire at your opponents without too much risk, as they cannot shoot fast enough if you perform this method correctly. Watch out though, you are still viable to get sniped if you don't change your peeking angle while you're attempting to head glitch. We've also got some examples for this one that we're going to be taking a look at right now. Now, I only had one solid example, but it's a really good one and explains perfectly and shows perfectly what we've already talked about. So in this example, I was outside of Tomato Town, and you can see me using the crouch method to shoot at my opponent. Now, this method is not always guaranteed to not have you take damage, but it is really good at preventing you from taking damage, and in the grand scheme of things, you don't want to be taking unnecessary damage where you don't have to. The next method is sniper baiting. Now, the sniper rifle in Fortnite is one of the most powerful weapons in the game if utilized correctly. It is also very useful in the end game when everybody has set up a base on the high ground. This weapon is really valuable because of its ability to fight and end a fight before it even starts, and also for controlling another fight from a distance without taking too much risk. Learning to bait your opponents into peeking their head out of their cubby holes will allow you to get really easy kills without too much effort and save yourself a lot of hassle in the long run. This is a very useful method to use, especially in-game whenever everybody's got a whole bunch of loot. In this first example, I'm in Salty Springs out here, and I do the shooting method to bait out my opponent into peeking so I can get a headshot and an easy kill. In this second example, I'm in Dusty Divot, and I take a shot at this guy to get him to peek his head, and you can see me doing that method that I talked about where I move around a little bit just to kind of bait him into shooting. And then in this last method, I use it to kill these opponents from a long distance away by having them spray at me. I rebuild and then reposition for an easy headshot. Now, the last method we're going to be discussing today is called shotgun peeking. This method is pretty simple. All you do is, whenever you're fighting an opponent with a shotgun and you're in very close proximity, you take your first shot with your shotgun, and then the second you do that, you throw up a wall and a ramp right in front of your opponent, because typically they're going to try to shoot back, and so if you can build it fast enough, you can actually block the shot entirely, and the wall will take the damage instead of you. Now, I have a few examples here that I'm going to be showing you, and they are right here as follows. In the first one, I was outside of the river, and I was actually kind of messing up a little bit here. I got lucky and got a headshot on this guy, but you can see what I was trying to do there. I was trying to place a wall and a ramp to get up above him. Unfortunately, I was building out of metal, and it was an accident, but it worked out okay. In this next example, I was right outside of Dusty Divot, and I used this wall peeking method to actually kill my opponent. In this next example, you see me utilize that double ramp method to get up above my opponent, and then from there, it was a pretty easy find him, and then use the peeking method to stop him here. And then in this last example, you can actually see a pretty big bonanza of fighting going on here. It actually started out with me running up on these guys at Grandma's house here in Tilted, but it ended up becoming a big fight because there was actually more than one person here. Another way you can use shotguns in building is you can actually build over your opponent, jump over them, and do what I like to call a dunk, and actually hit them from above where they don't have any time to react. But another thing that's really useful in shotgun battles is using your environment. You can see me here really taking advantage of the fact that I can run around and outplay my opponents by using different angles and running around through the house. And here's that method I talked about, building a ramp and a wall to separate yourself from your opponent. That gave me just enough time to kill this other guy while allowing this guy to not get a shot on me by building another wall. Unfortunately, I didn't get the final kill, but you can see how I incorporated the method that I was talking about to easily handle all the opponents that were there. As long as you play smart with shotguns, you can pretty much outplay anybody, just as long as you know what you're doing. Okay guys, that's going to be it for this tip video for this week. I really hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a big fat thumbs up, and if you really liked it, make sure to go down and consider hitting that subscribe button so that you get notified, after you click the bell of course, each time I make a video. And with that being said, I will see you guys all in the next video, next Monday. Bye bye!